Check.
Approving a resolution for Amen House.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
CUG.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yeah, Jared wanted me to be here in case anyone had some questions.
Yeah, we're Chip Clark does our internet, and we were doing a brick grant with you all. So
That's another thing. Hazard mitigation. Your all's FEMA plan was approved. So I got that letter from the state 2 days ago, and I haven't sent it over to you all yet, but
Okay, cool.
you are approved. So hazard mitigation grants, you're good to go. That includes brick.
That is good to know because that probably plays into. I'm trying to look at that. It looks backwards to me.
It is.
Yeah, we're moving. We're working with the Fed, I guess, on the brick grant for potential hazardous dam mitigation issue.
Yep. I remember, so Nick Grinstead at Kentucky, Kentucky Emergency Management. Actually, I think he's with UK, but he's the grant or the plan reviewer for the hazard mitigation plan for the state. He told me, he's like, yeah, finish Scott County's first because they've got the brick going. So
That's good.
yeah, but you all are good to go. So later when I get back to the office, I'll send out that letter.
Planning and zoning have to sign off on that.
No, you all had to do a resolution adopting the plan, and then that's all you all had to do, and you did.
Yeah, I'm trying. We did it a while back, didn't we?
Yes.
That's cool. You live here in Georgetown?
No, I'm in Lexington.
We have a couple. Like I know Chip lives here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else that lives here too.
Gosh, I'm trying to think.
Um,
Karen Leverance is from here.
yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, she lives in Lexington now, but she's from here. Eastman Johnson.
Dude.
Our land use planner, Eastman Johnson, he lives here.
Yeah. Sheriff,
Dr. Wallace,
I need to talk to you, buddy.
you gonna talk about this truck?
I am.
All right, I'm gonna explain it.
Yeah. Well, let me just break it down to you real quick.
Okay.
I've struggled with whether or not this is the direction that we need to go, whether having a truck versus the SUV. I understand the availability, but then the more I've thought about it, for the overall good of the county, we're better off probably getting the truck because it can be passed on.
Stacy was
When I
saying,
tried
"Stop
to
saying
clean
that."
up, I had to clean up stuff.
Yeah, I don't believe she
And
has.
it's around 14,000. But,
I asked
But
her
everything
about
up
that.
there now,
Oh.
what I've been seeing.
No, I take her back that
one,
one.
I mean, one
Probably
people
going home, I'm like,
No,
yeah,
one down the street,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
over 95.
Ain't it? Yeah, it's just like
So,
that.
it's the same, basically the same.
It'll be
like,
chunk right in the middle.
The issue is, I got to deal with,
Thanks, man.
community, and, hey, morning.
How's it going?
You should.
And,
Is there anything specific you want to
no,
talk
I
about?
know.
But just like, what the kids, all right, look at that. I'm with
No,
you.
he took that.
Change
He took, he
It
took
does.
that.
So when I was thinking truck, I was thinking
You know.
single cab, not
Oh,
double.
no.
So if you can
It'll have
rest
to
vehicles,
age,
yeah. No, I'm good with that.
I'll ask her when she pops in there.
It'll look sharp. There's just a couple renderings, right?
Yeah.
There's just a couple of boards that I think are good.
What, Eddie used to do like
You know,
40 minutes,
we're close right now.
when you get arrested,
We need to done.
not fair.
I mean, even,
Well, then they started forwarding it out.
like retiring or not, we just need.
How is their interaction with the law, with people?
And it's not a big.
Those kids are getting ready to get a deal with, start to
Well,
see
I think it's a big
their
job. Yeah, because we tried to repair stuff.
They're getting ready to try.
No, we tried to.
That kind of situation.
We tried to.
No, they'll do that.
Everyone's
Yeah.
That's I've been here, it's been like 3 times.
Yeah.
Maybe over like 40, sir.
Yeah, just like,
How much?
and the other thing is, we always want to do custom, you all,
I mean,
you
I care
all,
about whatever.
not putting out.
You know, Rob said, I sent out a message to the guy about the
I appreciate
He asked about the stimulus board. He come in and looked at it and took the card to say, Rob, I'm happy. How many times have you done this? Yeah, hello, how you doing? Life all right? Hey, thanks for coming. Becky, Rob, we heard that. We appreciate you all. Yeah, I'll just. Yeah, and Stacy took Stacy's card and everything. Hey, Rob. Hey, Rob, that must be a nasty job because everybody runs something. People been running from that job. Good spot. Hey, and you know what? You know we got money. You know we got money. You know our money. It's here. You all right? Because a lot of things flow. No, you're good. You're good. That's the one. It's like my flash. It sounds like your. Okay, we're good. Sitting out. I don't blame you. No, we're good.
You gonna get you a truck to do that?
I already have it.
Hey, good morning. I want to welcome everybody. We'll call our meeting to order. This is our regular business meeting here in January. It's hard to believe it's already the 13th, and we are excited to be here with you. Glad you're here with us. Would you please join me and stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Joe, would you lead us?
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
Thank you all. Ms. Hamilton, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hostetler?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Foreman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Pratt? Here. Mr. Livingston? Here. Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
Present. Thank you very much. At this time, we need to reappoint all county employees, and that would be a regular occurrence at new terms, and it encompasses all employees. Is there any questions or comments related to that? And would there be a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Livingston, a second from Mr. Hostetler. Any other questions?
Can we exclude anybody? Oh, no.
We cannot exclude. So if there's no other questions or snide remarks, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, would like to consider the minutes from our previous meeting. Those minutes were shared by email. Any questions or comments related to those minutes?
No question. Yeah.
Motion from Mr. Corman.
Second.
Second from Mr. Hostetler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is from your packet, the transfers. Any questions or comments about those?
Judge, there were just a couple of categories I was hoping you might be able to elaborate on, like the 400,000.
Absolutely. For road to general there, that was to cover the expense of the Oxford Road paving, and we have submitted all documentation to the Transportation Cabinet now. After we do this, we'll submit all to be reimbursed for that project.
I'll send it today.
She'll send it today. So that covers that Oxford Road project, and that was a huge upgrade.
Sure.
Plus, getting it done with the help from the state transportation funds, very helpful. The other, would take note there, opioid settlement fund monies. So that was from general to a specific new formed account that Michelle had to open, $292,542.89. That's from the opioid settlement. That'll be a topic of discussion that we'll need to take up about looking at the requirements and the restrictions on allocations for spending that. We'll have to look at it, and it's all tied to addressing issues that were a result of the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, and I thank you for that, Judge. And there's that other category, 48,000 and some change, and 44,000. I've talked to Michelle about it. I thought that was a good thing. It's a rebate, I think, is the way.
Michelle, could you speak to that one for me?
The two $48,000 and $44,000, they're rebate checks we received from our prescription plan. So we put that back into revenue, into that line item to cover expenses.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Judge.
No. Would there be a motion to accept that? So we got a motion from Rick, second from Mr. Wallace. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And that said, we want to take time to recognize people that serve our community, and there's no more important service than education of our youth, and really appreciate the service of our school board, and glad to have you all here this morning to recognize your service. And we know how important it is and how thankless a job it is at times, and your willingness to step forward and serve and help move us in the right direction. And we've talked about this. We're blessed to have leadership of Billy Parker. We're glad to have him driving the boat, and your all's work together in collaboration, I think, would be a big plus for our community. So we want to take time out, and I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children, and whereas Becky Nelson, Diana Brooker, Susan Duncan, Eleanor Ratliff, and Wendy Young contribute greatly to the community through their service on the Scott County Board of Education, and whereas these decision makers are responsible for maintaining strong, effective budgetary oversight, high standards for employment, and a safe and well-managed set of school facilities, and whereas those board members serve our community with integrity, honor, and commitment to our children's futures, and whereas January 23rd marks Kentucky's observation of their contributions through School Board Recognition Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Scott County Fiscal Court does hereby proclaim that month of January 2023 throughout this community as School Board Recognition Month, and urges all citizens to honor Becky Nelson, Diana Brooker, Susan Duncan, Eleanor Rathnoff, and Wendy Young for their service, dated 13th day of January 2023. And really appreciate you all. And David Livingston is the one that prodded me and said, hey, this is School Board Recognition Month, we ought to do something. So David, I appreciate the heads up and the reminder and the collaboration. Would any court members like to make comment? And yeah, and I know Diana could not be here because she's had a recent shoulder procedure, and then Wendy Young she's an educator and working this morning in the school as it is. So let's take a picture, and you all come down too.
Rick, go out just a little, and Chad, turn your body forward. Okay. Perfect. 1, 2, 3.
If we're straight, it looks like a line.
Well, he was the only one who heard that. Chad, I should have told them to turn like you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did it right, man. Appreciate it.
Yep,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Huh? Oh, yeah, you'll slide out of here.
We'll move to number 9. Let the record reflect that Sheriff Hampton and Darren Broyles, Darren Broyles, completed training units. And then also, number 10, let the record reflect that sheriff's fees in the amount of $1,436,817.53 was submitted by Sheriff Tony Hampton, and clerk's fees in the amount of $82,027.02 were submitted by Rebecca Johnson. At this time, I'm going to move, Sheriff Hampton's made a request to move the vehicle replacement up because he has a conflict that just kind of came up that he has to go deal with.
Apologize.
No. So, Sheriff.
Good morning, everyone. Judge Covington, I sent you the email about the vehicle and the information about us, and all of you got it. And I put a picture there for each of you as to a couple of renderings if we were to purchase this and issue it to our DARE officer, Joe Thomas, who's doing a fantastic job with DARE. And we're even looking at maybe expanding that to a full-time role. It's really working well. I think Dwayne would agree with that. So anyway, I've searched high and low for a vehicle to replace the Tahoe that was totaled on 75 during the snowstorm, and there's just nothing out there. And the closest thing I could find that will be available probably at the end of February, maybe early March, is this pickup truck, Chevrolet Silverado 1500 series. It actually is a police package truck. We can put all the equipment in it that we would need for a normal patrol vehicle, the cage, all that. It comes with spotlight, all that. So just a little bit more money than the Tahoes. But the thing about the Tahoes is we're looking at early summer, probably before they'll start coming in. And we really need to replace this vehicle as soon as we can, if possible.
Questions?
Sheriff, did you get what our adjustment's going to be from the wreck? So from the claims adjustment.
Daryl called me yesterday and said he hoped to have that to me today. I'm estimating about 35,000.
So the difference would be.
Truck's about 51, and upfit, I'm going to say 16,000, so 65, 66, so we're looking at probably kicking in 30,000.
Okay.
Now, Keiko will pursue the trucking company, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in a conversation I had with Judge Dills yesterday, former sheriff, and now he's the judge in Grant County, is they kind of handle their own, and they're actually going after a trucking company now and trying to get more money than what they had offered.
The claims adjuster that called me, not Daryl, Vivian Hall, said that because it is a trucking company, we probably will get more.
Well, I would think so, and I would think that, to replace that vehicle, we're talking over $70,000, and,
Right.
I just didn't want to say that and it be the 30.
Right, I mean, we don't know,
It's like-
absolutely, but, I mean, I feel like they should probably pay more than just $35,000 because of all the stuff we can't salvage anything except the radios out of it.
And that's what I was going to ask, because, there's a vault in the back of those Tahoes. It was, it's crushed.
It's a good thing he wasn't in it, nor having someone in the back. A lot of times when they're working wrecks, they'll let people sit in the back and stay warm, and that probably would have been not good.
I would say, though, Judge, I think the overall good to go in this truck vehicle, because I've talked with the sheriff about this, is for our county, once the sheriff's deputy is done with doing this and we go to maybe a new Tahoe or whatever we do in a few years, there's use, instead of just going to surplusing it, there's use for us. Maybe it could be with the road department, maybe it's with animal control, maybe it's with a different use versus the Tahoe kind of locks us into being a patrol vehicle. And
Every truck that we've purchased is now out there with JR, and I think they get a lot of use out of them, but if I'm not.
So I do see the overall benefit, even though it might cost us in the short run because of the deficiency between the claim and what we have to put in it. The long-term benefit to the county is probably
And the other thing,
outweighs it.
the dare officer's Tahoe, if we were to buy this truck, it would be passed back down to Deputy Wilson, who lost his Tahoe.
The vehicle has the police pursuit package on it.
It is. It's all in here.
Officer Thomas, in the summertime,
He
goes on
throws-
the road.
Yeah, and he
So-
works a lot of federal overtime, so he'll be able to, I mean, it's a general purpose police
Yeah.
vehicle, it's just a pickup truck.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
So the things that are in the vehicle, like you said, the vault was damaged, those kind of things, make sure you make real good notes of those for the
It's all on
adjuster.
Stacy's done a
Yes.
really good job of pursuing more
Because
money.
they obviously can't do apples for apples, but you can argue with them that some of the equipment that you may need to put into the truck should be paid for by the trucking company.
Well, if you remember when I
Not
was
just the
first
vehicle
elected and
itself.
we had all those wrecks and you guys thought maybe I was making that happen, but I wasn't. And we weren't getting the money back for the equipment, but Stacy picked up on that and she started getting us more money.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I'm not up here in another 4 years asking for a vehicle, but as much driving as we do and the unknown.
Any other questions or comments?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Hostetler, second from Mr. Ellison. Any other question or comment? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all very
Sheriff,
much.
Thank you. The sheriff fee estimate, that's our next item, 2023 budget report. Stacy just needs to be read.
Just the first page.
Okay. Cam, will you read that for us?
Yes. Annual fee budget for calendar year 2023, Scott County Sheriff, Part 1, summary and reconciliation of all accounts. Receipts year-to-date, budget estimate $2,045,750. Excuse me. Book balance excess fees $2,045,750.
Any questions or comments?
I'd like to comment that fee keeps going up every year.
And we appreciate the attention to detail.
Absolutely.
Would there be a motion to accept and approve? Motion for Mr. Corman, second for Mr. Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll go to number 12, which is the annual fee settlement for calendar year 2022. And Cam, I'll go ahead and read this. It's receipts year to date, 2022 fee account budget estimate $1,918,650,000. 22 fee account cumulative actual $1,938,099.26. Total disbursements year to date $1,938,099.26. Book balance excess fees from the 2022 fee account budget estimate $1,918,650,000. And with that said, the fee account that completes the reconciliation of all accounts. Any questions or comments about that? Motion from anyone? Motion from Mr. Hostetler. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Wallace. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff annual order salary cap. And I'm going to ask Michelle to step forward and talk with us. We've sent document out, sent information out, and tried to share the rationale for the numbers. Michelle, would you take it from here and just kind of recap that?
Just basically, we're just setting the salary cap for the calendar year 2023 for the sheriff and for the county clerk. In this salary cap number, of course, we have assumed, since it's calendar year, we have to use half-year numbers. Up until June 30, we're using current salaries. And then July 1, with the assumption on the high end of a 3% raise for both departments. Within the wages are included overtime adjustments. The cap includes retirement expense from the employer, Social Security expense from the employer, and health insurance from the employer. Previously, or historically, we haven't had the health insurance number included in this salary cap. This year, we are doing so to comply. And to be honest with you, the health insurance number is the majority of the bump up of the salary cap numbers for both of the departments.
So total budget for 2022 was 4.315,
Mm-hmm.
and then the total budget estimate that we're putting out right now is $4,890,000.
Correct.
And you can see $576,486 of that is health insurance. So, and then Michelle went ahead and gave you, estimates on 2% or 3% that will be done once we do the actual budget for all employees in March. We'll start talking about that, but wanted to give you that number. Questions or comments?
I have a question. So I know we've never included the health insurance before, but my question is, on the health insurance side, did we include any kind of buffer on that? And the reason I ask that is because let's say that she loses an employee that is a single employee on that plan, but picks up a family plan.
No, there's no buffer included on this.
Okay. understand what I'm saying?
This one's for the sheriff, but yes, same thing.
Yeah. But and I
That
would
would
have
keep us
directed it to
from-
him, but he wasn't in here. So.
Yeah.
That would keep us from doing an amendment if we do buffer.
If we need the buffer. I mean, we'll be tracking it quarterly from now on, just to kind of keep an idea of where we are.
I just wanted to say that just in case we do have to make a future
Gotcha.
amendment based on health insurance.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Rick?
So maybe I'm looking at this wrong, very possible. On what we're getting ready to read, the 4.36.
No,
For the
4.8.
sheriff, it would be 4.890.
No.
Oh. So, this, have I got the wrong document?
I don't know. I'm looking at 4.890 for the sheriff in the orange total budget for
Here's what you-
2023.
Yeah.
What I have here is 4.890.
That's what you gave me to distribute. I can walk through it.
We can just amend it.
It's 4.890.
So,
That,
for total budget for 2022 is 4.315.
We're voting on the orange number, the number in orange, the 4.890.
Yeah,
We haven't read it yet, just read it the
yeah.
right.
yeah, well, that's adding in that
The health
basically
insurance.
$500,000.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was about
that's
a
correct.
$500,000 round figure.
And assuming a 3%, the 3% raise in July.
Right.
Correct.
All right. But you sent out that spreadsheet, you
Yes.
sent that out,
Yes, correct.
Yes.
yeah. So,
But they
yes,
have this, because she gave
yeah,
this.
but that's a mistake.
But we're going with the spreadsheet number,
We're
right?
going with that spreadsheet. That, so Cam, will you read the annual order and amend it to reflect the 4.890?
Yes, sir. Please let me know if I state anything incorrectly. Annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants pursuant to KRS 64.533. The fiscal court shall fix annually the maximum amount, including fringe benefits, which the officer may expend for deputies and assistants. The fiscal court of Scott County, in compliance with state law, hereby sets the maximum amount which the sheriff of Scott County may expend from fees during calendar year 2023 at $4,890,000 for deputies, assistants, and other employees. The maximum amount as set includes all amounts paid from fees for full-time salaries and wages, overtime wages, part-time salaries and wages, vacation and sick leave, health insurance, insurance other than health, employer match, Social Security / retirement. And then that would be approved today.
So any other
January.
questions or comments?
That should be the 13th.
Yes. Any other questions or comments? Would there be a motion to accept that? Motion from Mr. Corman. Is there a second?
Try and give these
Oh,
other guys.
Mr. Hosteller. Mr. Hosteller with a second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Date at the bottom.
No, that date's correct. It has to be approved
Oh,
before
okay.
5/15.
Got it, thanks.
So we've got that handled. Looking at our agenda, we will move to clerk fee estimate 2023 budget report. Michelle, can you, while we're doing this, can you double check, make sure because I have the spreadsheet for the clerk.
It is. It's correct.
1.560.
It's correct.
It's the same thing.
All right.
Read that.
Yeah, if you read that.
Form for budget, cumulative quarterly report and annual settlement for calendar year, Scott County, Part 1, summary and reconciliation of all accounts. Beginning balance plus receipt year-to-date 2023 fee account budget estimate, $19,307,675. Total disbursement year-to-date 2023 fee account budget estimate is $17,576,700. Projected turnover to fiscal court 2023 fee account budget estimate, $1,730,975.
Any questions or comments?
So for this year, for the county, we do have an election, state election, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, we state election, so there will be overtime. Okay,
Got the primary and then the governor's election.
yeah. Just the state, I think there's state
Yeah.
officers, yeah.
And this will be more, especially for the salary line item, this would be more just actual money to take in the more.
Right. But I'm sorry, I'm a little bit ahead, but yeah.
Yes, it will be.
So, good question. Any other comments or questions? Would there be a motion?
Most for,
I got Kelly on the visual.
Yeah.
And I got you on the second.
Yeah.
Dual motion.
So, with that said, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, you're not
It
allowed.
is a commotion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move down to clerk annual order salary cap. Michelle, do you want to speak? She really doesn't.
Same thing as the sheriff. And to address your question, that the wage number is including overtime as well.
Okay.
Estimated overtime.
yeah,
just
on
so
the
you
first
know.
line. Yeah.
Mhm.
So really, the reality is $1,175,000 was 2022.
Correct.
We add in $317,627.88 for health insurance. That's a significant portion. What we're asking you to consider as a total budget for 2023 is $1,560,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, would you read it?
Yes, sir. Annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants pursuant to KRS 64.533. The fiscal court shall fix annually the maximum amount, including fringe benefits, which the officer may expend for deputies and assistants. The fiscal court of Scott County, in compliance with state law, hereby sets the maximum amount which the clerk of Scott County may expend from fees during calendar year 2023 at $1,560,000 for deputies, assistants, and other employees. The maximum amount as set includes all amounts paid from fees for full-time salaries and wages, overtime wages, part-time salaries and wages, vacation and sick leave, health insurance, insurance other than health, employer match, Social Security/retirement. And if you guys approve it, approved in court by January 15th.
Questions or comments?
Just one quick comment, and then I'll make the motion, but I kind of like seeing it this way. I had an extensive conversation with Michelle about it's the same thing for the sheriff and for the county clerk. That is the total package, including that health insurance, and obviously we all know that that's what the health insurance portion has always been there, but this shows up in this line item this way. It kind of, and it looks like a big increase, and it is, but not really, because that health insurance has always been there. So it's good for the public, in my view, to see that's the total package for the sheriff's office and right now for the clerk's office. So I make a motion.
Motion, thank you for those comments. Second, from Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. With that said, we will move down here to Resolution 2301, Amen House. And we have Logan Hart from the Bluegrass ad that's been helping. Jared's been working with the project as well. And Stacy's got a thick file today. I'll ask Cam to read the resolution, then we'll have comment, and then Logan, if you have any comment. I believe this is a very worthy project.
Scott County Fiscal Court, Scott County, Kentucky, Resolution 23-01. A resolution of the Scott County Fiscal Court authorizing the submission of an application for the Amen House Food Distribution Center Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. Whereas the Scott County recognizes the important work of the Amen House Food Pantry in serving the residents in their community. And whereas the Amen House Food Pantry has faced challenges due to lack of centralized food distribution center and kitchen. And whereas the current Amen House Food Pantry in Georgetown is not able to adequately meet the requirements of the organization, and whereas it is the intent of the Amen House Food Pantry to construct a new food distribution center on Paris Pike in Georgetown, and whereas the Scott County Fiscal Court recognizes the importance of this facility to supporting and improving the services the Amen House Food Pantry provides to the community. Now therefore be it resolved this 13th day of January 2023, the Scott County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive to execute same on behalf of the county as follows. The Scott County Fiscal Court agrees and resolves to apply for HUD Community Development Block Grant funds in the amount of $750,000 for use in a project entitled Amen House Food Distribution Center, CDBG-CP, and further authorizes Scott County Judge Executive Joe Pat Covington to sign all documents necessary to seek the federal financial support that would enable this project to move forward.
Thank you very much. Logan, thank you for being here. Any comment you'd like to make about the project?
So I don't have a lot to say, but one thing I will say is in order for us to apply for this grant, we had to do income surveys for a month prior to the application. So we started doing those at, they were the beginning of December, and we were going to continue doing them actually all the way up until we submitted the application at the end of this month. But we had so many surveys done that we had to stop when we were well over 300. The need is
And those are from potential clients.
yeah, those are from potential clients. So the state actually told us, there are so many of these surveys that we couldn't do them, that they knew there's a need to go ahead and stop. I think it's a great project. It's going to help them out tremendously. And I know they're really appreciative of you all applying on their behalf for this grant.
Questions?
Is there any match or anything like that? I didn't think there was, but just wanted to clarify.
Right, so yeah, Amen House is covering the match. You all will simply act as a pass-through for the funds. The only requirement from you all will be when the state pays them, if it's awarded, you all will have 5 days to transfer that money to Amen House. They will sign an agreement with you all that transfers all of the CDBG requirements to them. They're going to be responsible for taking care of everything.
And this equipment that will be purchased will be primarily used for a soup kitchen. So, and the need is real. Other questions, comments? Michelle was going to be here as well, but she's not. She's ill and sent her apologies, but she would have been here.
I just have a comment because, we've gotten the ARPA funds and stuff and the amount of money, the request from the nonprofits and things. It's a blessing to have the Amen House and the other nonprofits because we all get wrapped up in our own little worlds and we don't realize what needs are out there. And so when you just said the number of surveys and you had to cut it off, that's kind of shocking to the system and what that need is out there. So I appreciate what you all do and bringing that to us and letting us know, because oftentimes we may never know that because we get in our daily lives and don't realize what's going on outside of our own bubble sometimes.
Thank you, David.
So to that comment there, so those surveys, you actually sought people that would want to use the soup kitchen type, right?
Right, so the way they did it was as people came in to receive assistance, they just had them fill out these forms. There were actually a lot of forms that we had to figure out a way to track them because the state requires you to list addresses. They have to have their name, their address, their income, the number of people in their household. There was a significant number of people who were homeless, so they didn't have addresses. So we didn't know how to track those people, and we had to figure that out. And it hurt to read, but it shows the needs there, and it's good that there's people like Amen House out there helping them.
I guess that same information can be used to help in other ways, like with the homeless.
I'm not sure how much we're allowed to release that information, but
right.
It's there's a
I mean, just
significant number.
knowing the numbers that
Right.
there's this kind of a need out there, at least you got an idea of a number.
Right.
You could probably get statistics out of the 350, how many,
That's what I'm driving at.
yeah.
Good word, statistics, yeah. Thank you.
Motion for approval.
Motion from Mr. Wallace, second from Mr. Pratt. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move now on down, 18, Code Enforcement Board reappointment. And this position is a reappointment for a second term. And are there any other questions or comments?
I must have missed the email. Who is it?
It's Mr. Charles Over.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Any other questions? Would there be a motion to accept that? Motion from Mr. Ellison. Second from Mr. Corman. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We will skip down now to County Attorney's Office new hire. Cam, would you share, and Jeff, would you share information related to this?
Yes, sir. We're excited to hire a part-time victim advocate. I think this was discussed at one of our recent meetings. We have done interviews and are excited to recommend appointing Kathy High as our part-time victim advocate at $22 an hour. She's worked for 20 years for Ray Larson's office and Fay Commonwealth's attorney's office in Lexington, so she's, and myself and several of our attorneys know her and really like her and think she's done a good job, so we're excited to add her to the office.
The key would be her knowledge of available resources.
That's correct, yeah. She's got a lot of experience and shows a lot of empathy and all those things. So.
Yeah.
It'll be part-time, yeah, 20 hours a week. Her schedule we anticipate would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There would be some flexibility there based on needs and stuff, but we can make adjustments here and there, but that's basically the deal, yeah.
And January 23rd start date.
January 21st?
23rd.
23rd.
Russell, do you want to see it?
No, it's okay. Thank you, Steve.
Questions or comments? Motion from Mr. Livingston, second, or is that a question?
No, that's the second right there.
Second from Mr.
And
Jones.
then I got a question.
We have one question.
I didn't want to, now what was it? Is there anybody else in your office now that's handling this, or is she
No,
going to be?
this will be a new position. I think it's something that is needed, and a lot of prosecutors' offices have one. We've not had a victim advocate, something that I thought we probably need, and it has also been expressed to me by others in the office and constituents and so forth.
Right. Well, it sounds like a great person to
Yeah,
fulfill
we're
that
excited
need.
about it, yeah.
Her experience, I read through that. That's pretty awesome.
David? And
Yeah.
Mr. Jones with the second. Any other questions or comments?
I got Rick as the second.
No, it's Mr. Jones.
It was Mr. Jones.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Jeff's staying around because he's got
I got two more things to
EMS
cover.
No, you got road department new hires.
Yeah. I want to say on behalf of J.R. Brandenburg, we had some interviews this week, and had a great candidate, John Green, that applied for the equipment operator position. He holds his Class A CDL license, which is definitely a plus. He's got 10 years of related work experience. Most recently was working for Ernst as a mixer driver. So he's slated to begin on January 17th, so just Tuesday next week at $19.95 an hour. So I present that recommendation to you.
Questions?
What's that do to you know my question?
Yeah, I
Staffing
do.
levels.
That brings him back to full staffing except for the 2 road crew laborers, but he's got a retirement today. So really, he's got 3 positions to fill, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 4? Okay. After today, okay. So there you go.
Motion.
Motion. Second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. EMS new hires.
Okay, and these are two part-time employees. On behalf of Chris Runyon, Houston Chamberlain at $15.13 an hour as a part-time paramedic, and Chance Bryman as an EMT on a part-time basis at $10.93 an hour. They'll both begin employment on or after January 23rd. Positive thing is Houston's been a paramedic in Jessamine County for 3 years, and Chance Bryman's been a firefighter with Georgetown since November 21. So both are coming to us with experience.
Questions?
Rob, is he going to make a motion?
Are they both
Motion for Mr. Jones. All right. Motion for Mr. Jones. Is that a second for you, Mr. Corbin? That's a second. All right. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's going to lead us next to fire department training, out-of-state travel. This is for the 26th through the 31st. It involves training for IAAI, and it's for Chief Canavy, and this involves a CFI certification.
Involved part two towards my CFI.
Okay. Would you like to make any comment, or John, would you like to make any comment? And any questions from staff related?
I know it says London, England. I'm just following. It's at no cost to the county at all. I'm being represented by the international. They're paying everything. I'm one of 10, I think, that are going. So
how many total?
I think there's 10. There was 12, but some couldn't go. So all expenses are paid. It's just because we have the policy of out-of-state training to bring to the board. I filled the paperwork out for that. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
So where are we at with the program and the contractual obligations with the dog at this point?
The dog, we're still working. We just replaced the dog back in October.
Yeah.
I'm good till recertification in October. I think I have to go back. So as long as I keep maintaining her certification, she keeps working.
So there's no contractual obligation, or it's not for...
The only obligation we have is that the county pays the vet bill once a year, and that they pay for recertification, which I go.
A 5-year term?
Yeah, it's an agreement for 5 years. So we'll be starting our second year. We've had it since '04.
Yeah,
it's never. But like I said, the only cost to the county basically is the recertification, which is a $85.
Well, that's
fee.
not necessarily true.
So
no, if you get called out, you take a county vehicle, right?
But I take the vehicle. Also, it goes into like mutual aid, where we have responses for other communities. For example, when we have a drowning, we bring in Louisville's dive team. They were here for 2 weeks at one time. So you have 10 people in 2 weeks. I may have to go to Louisville. I'm there, driving down there. I'm there maybe an hour, 2 hours, and I come back. So it's a means versus ways thing, if you understand what I'm doing. That's where we're at with the dog. Right now, I don't know if you're all aware, but the state police are out of the fire investigation business, and so is the state fire marshal's office.
Yeah.
So it's hurting the state immensely with that. So, and I've had some success in this county with some prosecutions for arson and other communities. So the whole thing is we're trying to reduce the loss of life and property for people that are intentionally setting fires.
Chief, is it just you going, or you're taking?
Yes. No, it's just me and the dog. Yeah, that's it. So.
Well, that was the question. Okay, thanks.
How does the dog travel? I mean, like in the flight cabin, or what's the?
Well, if the dog goes with, the dog just rides up front. My wife gets really mad because she gets usually first class.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Don't bring that up to my wife because she gets very upset that the dog gets to ride
okay.
up front.
This is not public.
Yeah.
Is there a motion? Motion for Mr. Ellison. Is there a second? Second for Mr. Hostelis. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We will move down to architect agreement. farmer's market. I shared this. There is no difference other than just the name of the facility on the agreement with Branstad Carroll. They had done the rendering and kind of the feasibility study for $2,500, and they're actually going to take that out of the final fee, and the fee is based on 7.5% of the project. And
Is there a fee schedule on that? A state fee schedule?
for architect services,
Yeah.
I do not believe so.
I know, I'm pretty sure there is for schools. And I didn't know if there was for county governments. I don't know. Because and the reason I ask this is because we actually, in the settlement of a claim in a school district, we caught that the architect had inserted the incorrect fee amount based on the size of the project. So I didn't know if there was a.
David, I'm not aware of one.
Okay.
The 7.5. Dwayne, would you comment?
I mean, that's pretty.
I mean, but
standard.
it's pretty
It's
standard.
I just didn't know.
No.
I'd say there's something out there for governments if they're, I mean, they do it. I'm sure they've been going on.
Yeah.
So
But
it's gonna happen, you know.
But this is the same agreement, just a different name on
And
it.
this is not a big project, but I'm thinking as we do, you know, if we do a large project, is there? Right, they're
Yeah.
good sized projects. So is there a fee
Yeah.
table that's out there that we're required to use?
Yeah. Any questions other than that? Would there be a motion? Motion from Mr. Livingston. Second from Mr. Corman. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Just FYI, I'm going to look at maybe the State Ag Department grant that we'd be eligible for. Might go ahead and ask Bluegrass Ag to see if they would help us navigate applying for that and having it all ready. We would be eligible, with the scope of the project, we would be eligible for up to $250,000. So I'm going to pursue that. Next, we'll go into new business, and would want to recognize some positive work by J.R. Brandenburg and Lieutenant Betson for the Sheriff's Department. J.R. on behalf of the Road Department applied for safety grant and received $5,000 for signage, for cones and barriers, different items that will help enhance safety for his staff out on the road. Many a time I've worked, you know, you come up over a hill and you come on somebody working, trimming, doing work on the side of the road or whatever it is, and more stuff like that we can have, the better we are. And then Lieutenant Betson from the Sheriff's Department applied and won $5,000. I believe is for aluminum jacks that are lightweight but can help assist on roadside tire changes. Happens quite a bit. I just wanted to recognize that. Then I want to ask you, Ryan Pratt he is willing to serve on Friends of the Park Board. We have a vacancy there, and that's for a magistrate's position. Anybody else that wants to speak up for that right now?
Do you need a motion?
We need a motion. We got a motion in a second. We got a motion from David, a second from Kelly.
Nobody wants to think about it?
All those in favor? Any opposed? Ryan, you're in. It's 8 years. Double appointment.
Whether you're on the court after 4 years or not.
So we've knocked that out. Ryan, we appreciate you. Advocate for youth sports and activities at the park. Now, another item that I'd like you to consider is a reappointment of Mike Cottle to the airport board for a second term. Mike's retired deputy sheriff, well known, and has gotten heavily involved in the airport board activities, and Martin Thomas recommended him for reappointment as well. Questions or comments? Motion from Mr. Hostetler, second from Mr. Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mike he's in there for another term. Mr. Livingston,
Do we have another position open?
there is another,
Okay. And
that is a joint appointment as well. All of them are joint appointments for the airport. And we are currently taking applications and promoting, trying to put that out. Kelly has submitted, had conversation with a local resident that lives in his district that's interested. He's got a very good resume. So after, another week or so, we'll gather any names. I'll share all those names. Then we can come up with an appointment on our side that we can sit down and talk with the city about making an appointment together. And then Parks and Rec, there is a reappointment for a county seat, and that would be Mr. Dale Stowe. He is willing to serve on a second appointment, and I would recommend him as well. Any questions or comments about that one? We have a motion. Second from Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then I meant to send this out to you all yesterday. This is a renewal of an agreement that we have with Sandra Jean Bernango, and she is a bargain. She does all our social media and does the website updates with agendas and just does a fabulous job. She works remotely. She was a former Georgetown College student, and then she interned with us, and she wants to continue working with us for another year, and I think we can't turn her down, to be quite honest. She does a really good job, and I think, Stacy, you would agree, wouldn't you? Very responsive and does a good job of producing those. And then, she's really been active on reposting and sharing, posts from county government agencies, city government agencies, and things in general. So what Sandra Jean, just to rehash what, she deletes content, creates new pages, updating old information, agendas, minutes, bids, and that's on the website, and then all that stuff on social media as well. So
When I send her information for the website or social media, I always say, no hurry, add this sometime this week, and it's done within minutes, every time.
So her fee is $9,600 for a year, and I would recommend that. Would be the motion. Mr. Hostetler with a motion, second from Mr. Ellison. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I have a question since we're talking about her job. And we may have this on our website. We have the people that are on the current boards, like the airport board.
There's a space for boards, and it lists links, and but I don't know if it actually lists the members.
Or is that something she could?
No, she could.
You could put the county ones probably, which, it would be up to us to let her know when they change, which is often.
So it'd just be neat, like when people call and say, hey, who can I call at the airport board? We say, well, here's the people that I'm board.
Yeah. So
Nobody ever calls us for any.
she's got links, but I'll ask her if we can add the names.
They call me.
Good.
So, she's listed all of them on ours, and then they link to where there's joint with the city, and
We
then,
can't do cities. We've tried to keep up with theirs
Yeah.
for many years with no way.
Too much.
yeah, but we can get her to list the current members.
Their list is
Yeah.
close to being up to date.
So,
We could ask the boards just, let us know when they change so we can make sure
Oh.
we don't keep up with
but
it.
we've got a binder with terms and names of county.
And that's also the joint.
Yeah, and there's some joints. Yes, there's joint on there. So we'll try to get that done. Absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So with that said, is there any new business from any magistrate? Is there any new business from anyone in our audience that wants to share anything? With that said, on Monday, tomorrow morning, MLK breakfast. Anybody respond? I'll be attending that. And on Monday, there's activities, the march and then the speaker series in the afternoon. Start over at Georgetown College, I think about 4 o'clock. And then on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, we'll all be back here together to hear a presentation and then have discussion and input about regional jail proposal from the Grant County Fiscal Court. That'll be on Tuesday at 6. So,
Judge, one thing I forgot. Dwayne and I met with Spectrum on Tuesday, and you should be receiving soon a email that says there's going to be a map that's going to show where internet progress is taking place. They're still having issues with permits, and that map, hopefully, the judge is going to post on Facebook and let us be aware that there's a map out there so we can let our constituents know where they're working, what they've accomplished, and where they're going next, essentially. Dwayne, feel free to chime in if I forgot something.
no, I just texted him this morning, and he said he would have it to us by lunch.
Okay.
So I'll share that with you all.
Wonder what,
We'll post it.
sorry, go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rick.
I was just wondering what kind of permitting issues they're having.
Poll permits.
Still working on that, wow.
It's not on Spectrum, it's on.
KU, Owen Electric, and they got a chunk, a good-sized chunk, but if they don't continue to get them, they'll run out of work.
Right.
That they can't proceed without the poll permit.
I
So
guess they have to go individual poll by individual poll.
They do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, the engineering is turning them all, it's way behind maybe, and then, it's not budgeting right now.
Yeah, and they had their permit applications submitted this summer.
He mentioned like, the normal rate is like, the worst case scenario is allowed like 150 days, I think.
Yeah.
And most of these are way over 150 days.
Wow.
That they by statute or something are supposed to be turning these things around. They're not by whatever regulation or statute that they're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
So it's not on Spectrum right now. They're ready to run.
Last thing, John put this together for me and Harold. Just I wanted to give you all an update on these generators. And ship dates below. Courthouse for the 25 kilowatt will be shipped on 11/15/23. The switch 4/15. Station 2 generator 11/10/23. Station 2 switch 5/13/23. Station 4 generator 11/10/23. Station switch 4 switch 5/13. Station 5 11/10 again. Switch 5/13. And road department will be a little bit earlier, 9/15 for the generator and the switch 4/24. So we're moving forward, and make me sleep a lot better knowing that those are installed when they are, that we have that covered.
So you were mentioning the switches, and it sounds like all of them are coming several months before the actual gen set.
Right.
So are you going to try to install those? I mean, where are you at in that? I mean, because that can be done, and you just don't have.
We've got two electrical professionals.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, that is something, if that can be done prior, I mean, we could start working on, we'll probably have to, I would assume, create some specs or whatever and bid it out, that way they can bid on the whole project, or they can bid on each separate location. But we can start working on that.
I mean, it can be done. You probably should talk to the design team about the stair steps to it, but I mean, when you install that transfer switch, you're gonna have normal power. That's what you're gonna interrupt.
Right.
And when the power goes out, you just don't have the generator sitting there, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But that part of the piece of the puzzle can be done.
But having that done, and
It could be.
when the generator comes in, it's just one step already done.
Do y'all have, do we have like engineer group that you're working with?
No.
Yes. Right.
Would it make a difference, like, most of the switches are coming in April, but no, like, could we save money doing it that way, like that far apart? Yeah, just do the switches. Like, would anybody know, hey, if I bid this now, it's gonna cost me this much for a switch in April versus installing a generator in in November? Would that take?
Right, and the reason we haven't went out to bid on anything yet, because the wire fluctuation, seems like every month it's up and down. So to me, it would be hard for a contractor to bid right now for something that's gonna occur.
Yeah, but we're already paying for the transfer switches and the gen sets. I mean, so that, to answer your question, Ryan, I think that really that doesn't matter. That's already paid for. All the rest of the accessory stuff, which is the labor, the wiring, all of that, we haven't bid that.
Getting the schedule with KU too for the shutdowns. You're going to have to shut that power down to get that rewired, so getting that schedule with KU might be a thing you need to work on too.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, John. Anything else?
I don't know.
All right.
But we'll definitely look into that.
We'll report back. Any other questions or comments or anything?
Justice, I mentioned KU. I don't know if all y'all know, but the KU office in Georgetown is going to shut down here soon. Everyone across the state. So I've talked to some of the locals, and they're not happy about that. They're wondering what they're going to do, especially the older folks, because not knowing computers and having to do stuff online, they're used to paying cash for everything. So I didn't know if you'd had any conversations with anybody on that.
I have not heard about that. Even people that know about computers still go there. My mom goes there and pays every month.
Yeah, so.
Can they still mail a check somewhere?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they can, but.
But just being, hookups or somebody moving an apartment or house.
I hate that.
So
I do too.
I'll check with Daryl Smith and ask if there's anything that we're gonna have. Like, so.
There's not gonna be.
All right.
There won't be any.
Anything else?
Yeah, it's all gone.
With that said, then we are adjourned. Oh, we gotta have a motion.
Motion. You got one right here.
Motion.
Kelly Corman, you got a motion to adjourn. Second, David Livingston.
Well, I declare.
Well,
I declare.
well, I be.
Yeah, it's a real issue, and it's terrible on their part. I think they should shut them down.
Well, it's already an issue trying to get an inspection out.
I know it.
All those ladies have been working in there for years.